I know that my news app is completely confused about who I am. I'm steadily getting Asian news. This article is from the Korea Herald. It's talking about the low birth rate and its implications. So, low birth rate drives rise in number of working women in 30s. Let's get into this article. The South Korean 4B movement, which means no marriage, no sex, no dating, no babies, is really changing things and has changed things in South Korea very quickly because their birth rate has fallen off of a cliff. And what that means is more women have the time and energy and opportunity to pursue their careers. And you're seeing this in the data that women opting out is causing real life situations that the government is flailing and failing to fix. Let's get into this article a little bit more. The recent trend of an increase in proportion of working women in their 30s was primarily due to a reduction in the number of women with children, according to a report released Monday by the Korea Development Institute, a South Korea state-run think tank. Kim Ji-yoon, a researcher at the KDI, noted that although the drop in the number of women in their 30s that have children may seem like a positive factor in the short term because it boosts the number of women working in their 30s, it will likely have negative consequences in the long run. Ultimately, it could become a factor that causes economic and social problems as it will lead to a decrease in population and labor supply. So women's bodies and wombs continue to have a dollar sign placed on them. And instead of listening to women and fixing what is going wrong in the country, they just keep on wringing their hands and not fixing anything. The KDI report released Monday found that the increase in economic participation rate of women in their early 30s was driven by two main factors: a decrease in the number of women with children, 60%, and an increase in the number of working women with children, 40%. Kim noted that from 2024 to 2028, due to the fact that Korea is an aging society, the number of employed workers is expected to drop by 30 to 40,000 each year. For the time being, the recent increase in working women in their 30s is expected to offset the impact of an aging population by adding approximately 40,000 employed workers each year. Nevertheless, there are still concerns of long-term issues such as slowing economic growth, pensions, and government fiscal deterioration. So continuing to put a number on the wombs, but I'm still not hearing how they're going to compensate the women for these the labor force. And I'm not seeing where they're talking about changing society. The analysis was released following Statistic Korea's data that came out on October 18th. According to data from the Korean Statistical Information Service, the employment rate for those in their 30s in September was 79.6%, surpassing those in the 40s of 78.8% by 0.8 percentage points. This data is significant because it is the first time since the compilation of such statistics began in 1999 that the employment rate for those in their 30s has exceeded those in their 40s. The KOSIS data also showed that while the employment rate for women in their 30s has significantly increased, the employment rate for women in their 40s has remained at the same level as previous years. Also, the economic participation rate for women in their 30s recorded its highest levels in September at 70.5% since the compilation of statistics began. Over the last 24 years, it has increased by 15.2 percentage points. In contrast, the economic participation rate for women in their 40s stands at 67.7%, with little difference compared to June of 1999. The economic participation rate represents the ratio of economically active population, which includes both employed and unemployed individuals who are seeking jobs to the total population. According to Kim's report, it shows that men exhibit a reverse U-shaped pattern in their economic participation rate, increasing with age and then declining as they approach retirement age. In comparison, women tend to have an M-shaped pattern, decreasing their economic participation rate when they take career breaks for childbirth and childcare, and then re-entering the labor market once their children have grown up to some extent. In women's M-shaped pattern, the low point of economic participation rate curve for women in their 30s is moving from the early 30s to the late 30s. As a solution to these problems, Kim suggested boosting the economic participation rate of young Koreans by creating high-quality jobs, including promoting economic independence and early family formation. Okay, so have more kids younger. That's what they're going to do. That is not going to change women's minds. Kim cited the relatively low economic participation rate of young Koreans compared to other major developed countries as evidence to support her argument. In 2022, the economic participation rate of young people in Korea was 46.9% for those aged 20 to 24 and 74.3% for those aged 25 to 29, which is lower than that of the US, and Japan. America and Japan stand at 71 and 82%. In addition to creating high-quality jobs, Kim also asked for policies to support better work-life balance for childbirth and childcare, such as reduced working hours and flexible work arrangements. They could have led with that. They could have put that way in the beginning. They put that at the end. Creating a family-friendly work environment overall is also necessary. This last piece of the article really needed to be at the very beginning, because women are opting out for a reason. Women are opting out because of the misogyny and the anti-feminist sentiments in South Korea. And that is the reason for the formation of the 4B movement. And that is the reason why women are just saying, I'll just go to work, I'll do it myself. These people just are obtuse and they are not listening to women overall. And they're going to continue to see more women just go to work and opt out. Y'all go ahead, jump in the comments and let me know what you think. Like, comment, share.